So there are headlines saying that unified IBF, WBC and WBA welterweight champion Errol Spence is set to defend his titles against former champion Keith Thurman on December 17th. And now this announcement, or this news rather, has come a couple of days after Errol Spence very coyly posted on his official Twitter that an announcement will be coming soon. And now let's talk about this. Like many people, like most people, I'm very bitterly disappointed that the negotiations between Spence's team and Terence Crawford's team fell through. But call me a glasses half empty kind of guy, which I am. I can't complain with Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman as a consolation prize. I think it's a decent fight, and it's a fight that I've wanted to see for a while. And if you want to make a comparison, in my opinion, and I'm sure many of you guys share this sentiment, Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman is a much better and much more entertaining fight, potentially, than Terence Crawford versus David Avanesian. In my opinion, I can see very few ways in which David Avanesian can beat Terence Crawford. I think that's a very one-sided fight for Terence Crawford. Whereas this one, I still expect Errol Spence to win. And win big, mind you. But with Keith Thurman, not only has he operated at a higher level than David Avanesian, so he's a more proven quantity. But I think he's always got some... Keith Thurman, yeah, people have ridiculed him over the years because he hasn't delivered the goods. He hasn't really backed up a lot of his talk, but I think, he's decent. He's got decent power. He's always been a good athlete. Technically, could be better. But I think Keith Thurman can be a handful on his day. And Errol Spence, some of you may disagree with me, but I don't think he's still at 100% yet. And now I gave him massive credit for the Danny Garcia win and your Dennis Ugas wins. Dennis Ugas win, rather, following the car crash. He deserves massive credit for that. I mean, the way he recovered and then won those two fights is nothing short of a miracle, I think it's fair to say, if you saw the severity of that crash. But there were just some flashes. Like in the Danny Garcia fight, Spence didn't look the same. Like physically, his legs looked stiff. He looked like someone who'd come back from injury. He was very, he's not the most fluid guy anyway. He's a little bit mechanical, but he looks even stiffer. And then in the Ugas fight, he loosened up a bit, but then he had that weird moment where he got hit and he kind of just, not blacked out, but it was like he had a flashback and he forgot where he was. Look, you have to give credit to Spence. He still went on to win those fights. But I don't know, it still doesn't fill me with confidence. And I'm just wondering, Keith Thurman, I think that's another good test, another good gauge of where Errol Spence is at. And now, is Keith Thurman a Boots Ennis? Absolutely not. Is he a Stanionis? Probably not. But I still like this fight. I still think, at a bare minimum, and look, call me a savage, but to see Errol Spence hunt down Keith Thurman and try and rip his body, I think that's a good watch, to be honest. Because Keith Thurman, sometimes he can be like a cornered rat and he's most dangerous when he's hurt. But he's still got that vulnerability. So I think this fight is decent, if you ask me. Would I rather see Errol Spence versus Boots Ennis announced? Absolutely. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But is it likely? Clearly not. But, as I say, I'm the insufferable optimist. We didn't get we didn't get the Crawford fight. Probably won't get the Boots Ennis fight. But Keith Thurman, I think it's acceptable, I must say. Let me know what you think of this fight. Let's get in some early predictions. Do you think this is a good fight? Do you think it's an acceptable fight? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think that Keith Thurman has a chance of winning? Personally, I'd be very surprised if Keith Thurman won at this point. But you know what? I think he can be a handful while he, especially early when he's fresh and he's able to move around. But I do expect Errol Spence to get to him, get the business done, and probably stop Keith Thurman. if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet on Errol Spence to stop Thurman, and look pretty good in doing so. But yeah, let me know what you think of this fight in the comment section below. I'll get back to you. And for now, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.